This week on Inside Boulder News, the Community Power Partnership takes an exciting step towards tracking electricity and water usage in local homes. Solar energy takes center stage in Boulder's exploration of creating a local electric utility, and public safety officials recognize those who performed exceptional work during the September flood. Welcome to Inside Boulder News. I'm Ashley Prill. How much electricity does it take to power your home? Residents who volunteer to participate in the Community Power Partnership are about to find out. This week, real-time circuit-level energy monitors were installed, which will track electricity and water usage in homes over a 2-year period.
Certainly with my power usage, I'm sort of obsessed with getting my bills down, what I can change, how to monitor it. I work at home, and so it's nice to know during the day what you're using, what you're not using, what's peaking, things like that. I think knowing if I unplug something, how much, what is really using the juice in the house, I think more than anything. That's probably what I'm going to enjoy. I don't know what it all offers me at this point, so that's my best answer.
The Newlands and Kings Ridge Noble Park neighborhoods were chosen for the project because of their diverse locations, housing types, housing ages, family sizes, and income levels. While the city will get aggregate data, individual consumers' information and energy usage will be kept confidential. The program is being administered by the Pecan Street Research Institute out of Austin, Texas. As Boulder continues to explore the possible creation of a local electric utility, it's keeping a close eye on what's happening in the solar industry. Possible changes are being discussed nationwide, and here in Colorado, a proposal by Xcel Energy could make solar on individuals' rooftops less valuable. Inside Boulder News spoke with Yael Jashan, who is leading a solar working group, about why solar matters to the Energy Future effort.
Solar's meant a great deal to Boulder so far in this community. There's been a long-standing commitment to generating solar locally here, and it's a really critical resource for us as we move towards our Energy Future goals. And additionally, there's also a really strong solar industry here, especially in the last 10 years, and it's really a cornerstone of the economic vitality of this community. Boulder does have one of the highest per capita rates of solar in the nation. And we've also helped do things locally like craft a solar garden legislation that passed in the past few years that provides more access to people for solar that don't have roof space or that are in rentals. They can actually buy into a solar garden, and Boulder was one of the major backers of that legislation.
To help with these efforts, the city invited leading solar expert and innovator Carl Rabago to Boulder this week to talk with working group members and the community about what he sees on the horizon.
Unfortunately, too few big electric utilities are trying to adjust their business model for this new technological reality. But here in Boulder, the conversation has taken a different turn. Customers and citizens have taken things into their own hands and said, we want to explore a way to bring these resources directly to us through a new utility. So the first challenge will be not so much to have a new idea, but to stop having the old idea, to think of new rate designs and new customer engagement strategies. Those will be the keys to new solar, new technology, more customer satisfaction in the Boulder area.
If you'd like to know more about Boulder's efforts to offer residents and businesses cleaner energy that comes from more renewable sources like solar, wind, hydro, and less coal, check out the project website at boulderenergyfuture.com. The raging waters of last September's flood created a lot of damage, but also left many stories of heroism in its wake. This week, retiring Chief of Police Mark Beckner presented awards recognizing individuals for their extraordinary work. Chief Beckner personally nominated Deputy Chief David Hayes for his leadership at the Emergency Operations Center and coordination of rescue activities at the Boulder Municipal Airport during last September's flood. On the night of September 12th, when the flooding was at its worst, Hayes provided critical information to Chief Beckner, which aided in the decision to call for the City of Boulder's first ever evacuation.
That was a very tense time, as you can imagine, where we're trying to decide, do you call for an evacuation? If you do, how do you call? Which areas do you call? And so he provided a lot of information from the Emergency Operations Center because he was in contact with the people there who knew what was going on, We were getting field reports as well. And so all of that combined allowed us to make the decision.
We just knew it was going to be a long haul. And then in terms of the evacuation, we know generally what the capacity is of the creeks, but these things far outnumbered what we ever even planned for. That had nobody had predicted that much rain that fast, and so it was. You kind of talk to the city and the county hydrologist about what may be necessary, and at some point you simply have to call it.
20 awards were handed out by the time the ceremony was over, and the last one came as a big surprise to Chief Beckner. In recognition of his 36 years of service, he was presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Beckner will retire at the end of this month. Preparation is key to surviving any emergency situation, which is why our city's emergency services remain ready to respond 24 hours a day. Inside Boulder News recently spent some time with Boulder Fire Rescue B Shift at Station 1 near Casey Middle School to learn about how the team prepares to make Boulder a safer place.
You never know what you're going to be doing that day you show up to work. Anything could happen. Once you think you have seen it all, something else comes along and you're like, wow, I can't believe that.
There's so many times that you're dispatched to something and it's completely different on scene, so now you have to just adjust and overcome.
When we do enter into a structure fire, there's a lot of heat there. We're carrying all that equipment. Your heart rate's going up tremendously. You're in your zone 5 within 15 seconds.
When that muscle memory kicks in, you have to know exactly where that fire hose is at, the pressure, adjusting your nozzle, making sure if you're the engineer, adjusting all the nozzles, you get the right amount of pressure if it's elevated. I mean, there's a lot of variables.
Everything from pulling hose, just doing regular hose management drills, to hitting a hydrant, to more complicated things like high angle rescues, things like that. So pretty much everything that we do, we'll train on it over and over again. So when it comes time to do it, we don't have to think about it, we just do it.
In the fire service, we're constantly training. It starts with a recruit academy and then goes into a phase training process. And then for each promotion, there's a long list of tests and books that have to be read and trainings that have to be accomplished. As a firefighter, there's always something new to be learned. There's also always something to be reviewed. So we're constantly training. It's a daily process to keep our skills up.
If you'd like to learn more about Boulder Fire Rescue, log on to bouldercolorado.gov/fire-rescue. You can also schedule a tour of your local firehouse for children ages 5 and up. You're invited to the second lecture in the Architecture Matters series at the Boulder Public Library. Architecture Matters is a spring lecture series that highlights different topics related to architecture and historic preservation in the Boulder region. On Wednesday, March 19th, you'll have the opportunity to watch The Greenest Building, an hour-long documentary, and then enjoy a panel discussion. The event takes place at 6:30 p.m. in the Boulder Public Library auditorium. Thank you for watching Inside Boulder News. Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter by submitting news tips and questions. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe.